Greetings and welcome to This Horrible Goose. I'm Katherine of Sky, and I am joined by the wonderful Tony and Mari. Welcome, welcome.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
So this is a game that is inspired by For the Queen, which is kind of an RPG style kind of game of asking questions, having prompts on cards, and then we answer the questions. And we're going to use our creativity to come up with a really great story for you, we hope. So this is a special Halloween edition. We have never played this game before, but the blurb on the game said it's about this horrible goose in the neighborhood and we descend into chaos, and so it should be slightly scary, and we'll try to add some spookiness maybe to it. And yeah, and so we're going to try to play this for you today. So welcome, and we hope you enjoy this format. Let us know if you enjoy these kind of games, and we'll try to play more on our channels. Shall we begin? Would you like to be the narrator, Tony?
I can be the narrator. That would be fine. Yes, I will be maniacal. All right, so
Yes.
the narration at the beginning of this one is fairly short, anyways. So, you live in a neighborhood which has been plagued by a horrible goose. Each of your lives has had to adapt as a result.
Let me just say one thing. We think this is definitely inspired by Untitled Goose Game,
Oh,
right? Because like the
Oh, absolutely.
graphics already and
yeah,
Horrible Goose.
this is definitely Untitled Goose Game, the villager side of things.
Right.
Something about an invincible goose that terrorizes a small town occasionally,
Yes,
like
yes.
very, very on brand.
Mm-hmm.
Many of you will never be the same.
Mm.
Train your
By
goose.
some
Never.
divine grace, you have been given some respite from the goose's reign of terror.
Oh my God.
You know very well that this will not last forever. Take turns drawing question cards and answering them. You are encouraged to ask each other follow-up questions. If you do not wish to answer a question, you can pass it to the next player or ignore it. And then it just kind of this interface just kind of jumps right into the game. We don't have a
All right. So shall we decide an order to which we are going to answer the questions?
that would be a really good idea.
Okay.
So I can go first, or if somebody else would
Yeah,
prefer
sure.
it.
I feel like I'm very like sometimes my brain latches onto a thing. We can use the same order we were doing For the Queen in. So Tony, Mari, me.
That works for
Is
me.
that good?
Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. You learned the hard way not to underestimate the goose. What happened?
Ooh.
I think I tried to hit it with a rake one time. Like I was trying to scare it away, and I got really aggressive, and I tried to hit it with a rake, and it just kept coming. The
Oh my
goose just
gosh.
didn't stop.
Oh
Like
my.
hitting it with the rake doesn't do anything. Like
Oh wow, that's a like a power
Oh.
goose, huh?
like it is an invincible goose.
Ooh. Okay. That sounds rough.
And
Hmm.
I think that's part of why we're terrified. We can't do anything about this goose.
Right. We can't do anything about this goose. I kind of wish you had given that question to me, but because I had a perfect answer. But
I mean,
I
would you
will
like to add
accept your answer.
something?
Oh.
Well, I learned the hard way because the goose bit me. See, I am. If you play WoW, you'll know exactly what I am. I'm an infected squirrel, and guess how I got infected? Is this rabid freaking goose running around and biting me? And now I'm like the undead. I'm like I have like green mist around me all the time, and it's hard for me to collect nuts for the winter time. And this is just bad times, right? That's how I learned that goose has branded me forever, and now I'm like is it like undead or is it zombie or something? What is an infected squirrel? It's just
I
Squirrel.
infected, right?
I don't actually
Hmm?
don't know because I've never really played WoW. I mean, I did, but
Oh,
only
okay,
for a
right.
little
It's
while.
it's like it's a pet. It's a mini pet that you can get in WoW from the wilderness, and like they look kind of gross. They have like some like flesh dripping off, and
I
like there are
assume
parts of them that are like
I
there's no
played.
skin on parts, and
I played WoW for a time. I didn't know that existed. That would have been a pet
Oh yeah, that's in
in
the
my cart.
northeastern part of the eastern continent thing.
Oh,
I forget what the zone is called, but you can catch them in the wild, those infected squirrels. But
that's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
played WoW
Mm-hmm.
since it initially released. Like there weren't even any
Right.
expansions
Right.
out when I played
But
WoW.
anyway, I'm going full Halloween on this. You and your rake. Come on,
Hey,
get
Yay!
more
hey, hey,
creative,
hey.
Tony. Let's go.
I am not done establishing my character yet, and I'm totally okay with it
Good point.
being an invincible zombie disease spreading goose. Maybe
Goose. All right.
yeah, I
Okay.
almost said
All right.
ghost. It's
Let's
a
go.
goose.
Boost.
It's a well, it's white.
Boost.
It is
It
white.
might be a
Hmm.
ghost. We don't know
You
yet.
never know. It could be.
It is
Ghosts are
somehow
usually white.
invincible, and it has turned a squirrel into a
Well, it's
zombie.
invincible for a rake. I mean, if you had a shotgun, it might not be.
It might not be invincible
that
to a
maybe
shotgun.
maybe it's made out of ectoplasm, where like you hit it with the rake and it goes right through the tines. You know,
Is it slimy?
you never can tell. You never. I don't know. Well, no, actually, it can't be slimy if it bit me. You know, the beak
Slimy
felt
beak.
pretty hard, but then again, maybe it picked up the beak at a novelty shop, like a Halloween costume shop, where you can like have a mechanical beak that you have like a little lever to operate. I don't know.
Is this even a goose
Ghost.
anymore?
I don't even know it's a horrible goose. That's all I know.
It's a
Okay,
It is
sorry.
horrible.
I have completely taken over your prompt, Tony. I think we should go to the next question.
Oh,
We
man.
should. Mari, it's your turn.
Alrighty. What impossible thing have you seen the goose do? Who did not believe you when you told them what happened?
Ooh.
But you see, I'm just like a local like photographer. I just take nature photos, and this one time I was out in the woods, I almost got the perfect picture of that plague squirrel. And this dang goose suddenly came out of nowhere.
A celebrity! Woo!
And he had a Jason Voorhees mask on his head. I swear there was also a knife. I couldn't run fast enough. The worst part is I left my dang camera there and everything.
Oh,
It was still there
no.
the next day, but it
Who
rained all
didn't
night.
believe? I mean, because we know this goose is dangerous. All of us here. Who did you tell that they didn't believe you?
I tried to tell the locals, but they said no. That's too simple. It wouldn't just wear a Voorhees mask. That's too plain Jane. Can you
Oh
believe the
dear.
nerve?
Oh, the nerve indeed. That sounds rough. Oh wow. Okay. All right. What promise have you had to break because of the goose's presence? I feel ashamed about this because there have been times when my fellow squirrels have been like, "Hey, can you be a lookout?" And yes, I'm up in the trees, and yes, I can jump from branch to branch to run away from this goose, but I swear when that goose gets a flapping, he's like a freaking dragon and like just swarms up into the trees and starts trying to bite me and like and just swerving and swooping all over the place. And it's terrifying. And I have to say I have occasionally run into the trees, into the holes in the trees and just cowering scared because I was terrified and I thought he was going to eat me. A goose eating a squirrel. I swear this thing is like, carnivorous or something. But I feel ashamed that I had to leave my post and leave my whole territory undefended on the occasions when I've been on guard duty. But it was because of this damn goose. It was because of the goose. So yeah, sad times.
Indeed.
Poor squirrel. If
You're
only
up,
the
Tony.
world would sit still.
Yeah.
Oh, I am up. Okay.
I've now turned the goose into this like flame breathing dragon goose with the wingspan of like, I don't know, an eagle or something.
Well, I mean,
My
you are a
goodness.
squirrel, apparently. From your perspective, it is enormous and
It's
terrifying.
huge. It's massive and it's
These
scary.
are big and scary. Although
They
I did
are.
watch a
They
video of a woman beating someone over the head with a live goose. one
What?
time.
What?
That sounds horrific.
It kind of was, but the
Wow.
goose walked away.
Yeah,
like-
but that's we do not promote animal cruelty. Let's skip this. Let's move
Absolutely not.
on. Moving on.
Yes.
All right. Card.
Who have you lost
card.
to your obsession with the goose? My wife.
Ooh.
She left me.
Oh no.
My wife left me.
What are you doing with this goose, Tony? I really
After-
need to know this. That you're
after
losing your wife with your
After I
obsession with the
tried to fend the goose off with the rake, the I got obsessed. I couldn't get the goose out of my mind. I was so like, how do I get rid of this goose? And I tried
Are
everything.
you sure you don't have a fetish for it now?
Every
Hmm?
time the goose appeared in town, I would try new things to try and get rid of it. I tried hitting it with the rake first. After that didn't work, I tried a shovel. The shovel didn't work. After the shovel,
Oh
I
my.
decided to try like locking the doors. It found keys. I couldn't keep it out. I was like, okay, well, maybe if I try, eventually I tried to run it over with a car, and it just didn't work. I swear I ran it over, but it was still in the road and it was unharmed. I don't know how or why. And I mean, after weeks of this, my wife was upset with me over my obsession and the number of things that I had bought in an attempt to get rid of this goose. And she's just like, just ignore it. It just causes trouble and it doesn't hurt anyone. And I'm like, it is horrible, and I must do something about it.
It is infecting the squirrels of the wood, I'll tell you. That's not nothing, not harming anyone. What about me? You see these pieces of flesh falling, dripping off of me? Hello?
The
Does
world would
nobody
see
see
this
the infected
flesh.
squirrel? Well, nobody does, because the dang goose scared off the photographer, and I couldn't have my little piece in the magazine. I was looking for a cover photo. I wanted to be a cover girl. God darn it! Oh, my opportunity to be a star is over. Sad times.
Meanwhile, photographer in the background is trying to get this perfect image, and the squirrel is just dramatically flopping everywhere.
I'm
monologuing.
picturing
I'm
the squirrel
a
like
diva. I am meant to be a
diva
model.
posing, but like
Yes.
facing the wrong direction. like it's facing into the distance, just posturing and doing poses. And look at me, I'm
Yes,
fantastic.
yes.
And the photographer's over on the other side,
Indeed.
getting a really bad angle. Like, I'm trying. Look at me, squirrel.
Oh, sad times. Hurting no one indeed. Oh, I feel so attacked.
Okay, Mari, it's your turn.
Ah, you blinked. What artistic endeavor has the goose inspired? How do you feel about the piece? Well, I would feel much better if Squirrel would sit still every once in a while. Candy doesn't pay for itself, you know. I have to go to my grandmother's house. I have to go fish out her dentures from the fishbowl again. Because every other day, piranha this, piranha that, the woman's obsessed. I wonder what's her deal with fish some days.
Oh my.
As soon
That
as
sounds
we
scary.
figure
That
all
sounds
that out.
scary. Does she have all her fingers left? Holy fuzzy cats.
That's the
Jeez.
funny thing. She keeps her fingers just fine. Nails have gotten sharper lately. I just figured she files them funny.
I see. Okay.
But yeah,
it's
the
my turn.
goose,
Yeah.
after the goose bit a few of like the local animals, one of the squirrel, you could tell the squirrel is completely infected by the goose bite.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm oozing like green particles all over the place. It's bad.
the
It's
most
nasty.
perfect dripping ooze. The sun is just sparkling and glistening
Mhm.
off of this squirrel. If I could
Oh
just
God.
get the right picture, it would be the
Ugh.
perfect cover for the Halloween section in the tabloids.
And meanwhile, like, I need to be a little bit more aware of my surroundings. I miss the photographer. I look up from my like, fainting pose with my little hand on my head and just flop downward. And then I look up and oh no, the photographer's leaving. No, I wave, my little tail twitching in the sunlight, and like no, my little squirrel hands are too small. And I try
Still
chirping,
walking.
but yeah, still walking.
Yep.
All right. You've lost many nights of good sleep thanks to the goose. How did you spend them? Well, for one thing, I had to go and find what I could, materials and this may be TMI unless you're into Halloween, but I had to find a needle and some thread to sew up my wounds, kind of. It hurts somewhat, but like, when you're infected this bad and your flesh is kind of sort of halfway falling off, you like, have a bit of numbness there too. I try to get some leaves and sew up the patches where my, underneath the skin is showing, and like there's some bones sticking out as well. Those kind of hurt. I'm surprised I have the dexterity that I do. I can still operate all my limbs. Maybe this is some kind of magic disease, because like if it was real, like if a cat bit me or something and tore a piece of flesh, I'm pretty sure my arm wouldn't work anymore. But I can do everything that I normally could. I just look like, there's no man squirrels that are gonna want to take me out for a date. That's for damn sure. I'm looking so terrible, but at least I have this unique look that maybe a photographer of a fashion magazine will notice one day.
Someday.
But like, it's been rough. I've spent many nights sewing myself together. I feel like the Vidians or something like that of Star Trek. And other nights I've spent telling tales to the rest of the squirrel colony, how to stay away from this goose, telling them about the horrible, winged dragon fire-like thing that's going on there that's terrifying. And that's part of it, for them to forgive me for, copping out on the night watch sometimes. And other times I've just cried myself to sleep, because my life has been irretrievably something with an I changed by this goose. And I feel sad about it. I feel vengeful about it. I want to get that goose, and I kind of want to say I want to infect it just like it did me, but like if it has the infection and it's not oozing green, like I don't know, this goose must be supernatural or something. I don't know what's going on with this goose, but it's been terrifying. Irrevocably. That's the word I was looking for. I found it finally.
Yay.
Jay brain card.
Yes. A honk woke you up in the middle of the night. What did you reach for on your bedside table? I think I heard a sudden middle of the night honk, and I reached. I think I reached for my crucifix, and
Crucifix?
I think
it's demonic?
at this point I think I have decided that it is somehow demonic, because
Okay.
I can't kill it.
That's
I've
fair.
tried so many things, and it won't stop. I can't stop it. The whole town thinks I'm crazy. They think that that my obsession with stopping the goose is crazy. Like it's just a force of nature. It's a thing that happens. We just ignore the goose. It goes away. No one
Yeah,
else.
but what about all the other animals in the forest that are getting infected? There are deer infected. There are, I think they're called infected deer or blighted deer or something like that. In WoW, there's all these animals that are infected, squirrels and deer, and
Nice.
I can't remember the rest of them, but I'm sure there's like wild boar out there, or what else lives in the forest?
I'm sure
Animals.
there is.
Animals are
Raccoons.
infected.
And
Raccoons, yeah, let's go for those.
I am very concerned about all of these things, but the rest of the town doesn't seem to care. They
Really?
seem weirdly
Has there
indifferent.
been any news, like in the news? Mari, you would know this. You're a photographer for a
well,
magazine.
I
Have
am
there
the
been any
photographer. You are right.
articles about it?
Nah, lately everybody's just been wanting to focus on the coming of the new moon, and
Oh yeah, and the festival.
that's right.
Yeah. There's like a tennis ball festival. So I heard, where people like get their tennis balls and they like paint them with faces and stuff. I don't understand it myself. This seems silly to me. I mean, being an infected squirrel, who cares about tennis balls? Those are
Indeed.
like,
The whole town
uncatchable
cares
prey
about
for
them.
me.
My grandmother in particular loves the tennis balls. She loves going after them every time I throw them. It's a hobby of hers. I figure it gives her exercise.
Yeah, that's good. And lately they've been doing almost like Halloween, where they have like paint faces on them and stuff like that. And they have these weird games where like they throw them at each other, and if you get hit, there's a certain something consequence that I can't think of right now.
You have to go into the you gotta go into the ball pit.
Oh yeah, the ball pit. Yeah. Instead of like plastic balls, they have tennis balls in the ball pit.
Full of
That's,
faces.
full of faces. Yeah.
That'd be terrifying to get dropped into a ball pit of nothing but fuzzy faces.
Yes. Very, very. So, and like Halloween, they also give away candy for winners and also to the kids, because kids aren't able to compete really. They're,
Yeah, they don't let
they're
them compete
kids.
anymore
They're
after
not fully formed adults yet.
after
They don't have a chance.
after what happened like a couple years ago.
Yeah, I can't forget that. You remember what happened then, Tony?
No, I do
No.
not. My
Mari,
memory
can you
is
refresh
hazy.
us?
Well, there was this incident where it seemed like for a moment the hole just with where the tennis balls were, when the kids had jumped in, there was like this loud honking noise. We thought the goose was here, but when we looked back at the ball pit, the kids were just gone.
What?
I don't know if you were there.
Wait,
for
no,
that.
I wasn't there. I
but-
didn't see that. You mean like the goose ate them?
We don't know.
Where did your kid? Wait, does this like happen normally in this town? Where like,
No.
hey,
No.
let's just kill off all the kids in the town, and we're completely unconcerned about the goose.
It's not
luckily it
all
wasn't.
of
Is that
the
what happened?
children. It's not all of the children. Just a couple. A couple children went missing.
And possibly a
And
few local insects. Who knows? They get in there.
People are concerned. They miss their children, but I mean, you can't do anything about it. You just move on with your day.
Of course you can. You have to go and hunt down this goose. No,
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to hunt this goose. We must do something, but the rest of the town is just.
Now,
I mean,
did you lose a child? Maybe it was only your child that got eaten by the goose.
Maybe I did. Maybe that's why I. Maybe that's why.
Maybe I did. You don't sound very confident.
Well,
Are you sure that you're okay there? Is your brain working well?
I'm not okay. This goose is terrible. My brain is fuzzy, and I'm not okay, and I need to deal with this goose. It must be dealt with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Whose turn is it?
Mari's, go, please.
Yeah. Someone offered you a way out of this nightmare. Who was it, and why did you decline? Ugh.
Do you remember what happened? Because I remember.
Something about spoons over forks. Well, that was a whole different conversation entirely. I had to change my grandmother's silverware lately. She's been chewing on the metal. It's been
oh my
odd.
God. I think you should take her to a doctor, Mari. That sounds very rough.
I have already done that, but the doc says she's fine.
Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, the guy has 3 eyes. He's got to know what he's talking about.
Yes,
This town
indeed.
is horrifically cursed.
It's interesting for sure.
You know what
Guess
they say
don't
about
mind
3 eyes?
It's
more than 2.
Indeed. Well, I know that one. I know that phrase. So what I heard, Mari, is that someone offered to whisk you away to another city to live, and they were going to set you up with an apartment because they couldn't stand the story of this goose because it's really horrible. But I heard that you declined because you wanted to get a picture of fabulous me. You wanted the infected squirrel picture because I'm the only one in the world that I know of who has this sort of like magical, weird wasting disease.
Yeah.
And flesh dripping disease. And you love the glistening.
I
you
know.
Couldn't get that out of your head.
Absolutely. My cousin, he doesn't understand. I guess he's concerned sometimes what with my waning mental health, having to change grandmother's litter box every day, but hear me out. I just have to get a picture of this squirrel.
That's so good, Mari.
Grandmother's litter box.
You have such a flair for nonsense. It's great.
She has
it's so
an amazing flair for nonsense.
Nonsense is actually really hard to do. I know a comedian who does it, and it is difficult, and you are just great at it.
I
That's
cannot
fantastic.
I cannot compete with her in nonsense contests. Like so many times
No,
I've
no, I
tried.
agree. You don't talk nonsense at all, Tony. You're very
I
logical.
I can occasionally stump her, but
Mm.
she wins 90% of the time.
No, she gonna win this. She gonna win this.
She's
Mm-mm.
so much better at nonsense than I am.
Yes. Okay, card for me. The goose has cost you a fortune. Which possession was hardest to lose? It was my bed, actually.
No.
So the goose figured out which tree we store all the nuts in. Like the whole squirrel collective, we have living trees, and then we have like our granary tree, which holds all the nuts, all the acorns and other stuff that we've gathered to last through the winter. And Goose found, as typical, the cartoons are actually right. There is a tiny door in the bottom of the tree, and the tree is hollow, and if you break down the door, the nuts all spill out. They just,
Oh,
flow out. Just like a cartoon. Because cartoon people know how squirrels live. I don't know whether they spend time in the woods or what, but anyway, the goose decided, with its sharp beak and breathing freaking fire, it sort of like jammed its beak in the door, and then blew a whole bunch of fire up the center of the tree, so the nuts were all pouring out, and then they were on fire, and all the squirrels were like running around in panic, their arms raised, tails twitching. Just there was this, you could hear the screeching almost a mile away through the whole forest. It like spooked every single animal in that area, and because we lost our fortune, our entire winter's collection of food. Now we do have a couple of granary trees, so we were going to have to ration, like only having half the food during the winter. And the worst thing was that then, as if that wasn't enough, this goose, not eating our food, but destroying it with fire and brimstone, then decided to go flapping around and poking its beak into all the other little, or not all of them, but many other little of our entrances into the trees. And they're at various heights because, we're squirrels. We can climb. We do things. We have, some of us enjoy, balconies on the penthouse floor, that kind of thing. It's fine. We are posh squirrels after all. We know how to live. And Goose poked his beak, or her beak. Is it a he or a her? Do we know? Has anyone checked the underneath? I don't know. Anyway, Goose poked its beak into my home and destroyed my beautiful, beloved bed. Now, this is a bed that was tooth carved by my grandfather.
oh,
And it had beautiful, beautiful details. It was like the headboard was like, if you can imagine, like the side posts of the bed, it was two squirrel statues holding an acorn up toward each other so that the two acorns met in the middle. And then there was, a little bit of a backing to that. But it was so beautiful. It was like squirrels coming together in love and friendship and sharing their bounty. That was the sculpture. It was. And the rest of it had beautiful twist work on the bottom legs of the posts of the bed. And it was very special to me, and it was passed down through my family, of course. And now I'm sad because I would only ever have been the lone squirrel in the bed. Oh, woe is me, because I couldn't get a date. I don't know of any squirrels who fancy rotting squirrels, like as an aesthetic. So maybe from a neighboring village. I don't know. But anyway, I couldn't even have that sad, lonely time of being depressed and alone and single. Now there's actually no bed to be single in. Sad times.
Very sad.
why last Friday smelled so delicious?
What made you declare war? Was it too late? Well, I mean, I declared
This is a perfect question for you, gosh.
I declared war. I saw this and I'm like, wait. Did this question actually come up for me? And yes, it did. I declared war because this goose is a menace, and no one else
Mm.
wants to deal with it. No one else will solve this problem, was even trying to solve this problem. And yes, it was too late. We have already lost children. We have lost villagers. We have lost property. It has devastated this town for years to this point, and no one is trying to stop it.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I'm doing my best, but all I can basically do is hide in a tree. I don't have any weapons against this squirrel.
I
I do
mean,
feel like maybe I should take a note from It Takes Two, the game,
Hmm.
and like maybe build a slingshot or a catapult or something. I don't know, with my little squirrely hands.
well, I've got a
Hmm.
camera, but
Yeah, that's not good at declaring war unless you shame it. Maybe that's the way.
a shame article for the
A
goose.
shame
That's
article for
it.
the goose. Can you believe that when he attacked the squirrels, he didn't actually burn all the food? I mean, what is that? Leaving some out to rot? That's freaking cheating, you stupid goose. You can't even destroy things properly. Right?
Well, I don't know about that one. It seems more like it's encouraging the goose to go try and find your stocks.
Well, yeah, but we need to shame it somehow. And maybe if it's
Hmm.
shamed on like a DPS perspective, it would be okay. Like it would get it then.
Just
Well,
like,
maybe if we had more of a grandma, no, stop scratching that post.
is your grandmother a cat for some reason?
What are you talking about? She's a perfectly functioning old lady. Grandma, get that out of your mouth.
I'm fairly certain that that's a cat that you are speaking of. Anyways, your question.
Isn't it yours?
I just
Oh no,
did the
yeah.
last one.
Mari's, you're right.
It's my yay. The goose's rampage once made you a good friend. What unfortunate event did the two of you bond over? Tony?
What?
You bonded over Tony?
Yeah, you need to elaborate. You just said my name.
You have a point there. Anyway, I think I was trying to form a story in my head and I overthought it. Anywho, I believe the bonding incident happened when you had burst into the newsroom to, well, practically leap over the damn table to attack the head chief of the journalist office. I think we have a business name, but I can't ever remember. I'm too busy with other things these
Talking
days.
about the editor, you talking about the time that I choke slammed the editor into the wall and was just declaring, "You must make people know that the goose is a problem."
Yes, that one. I tried to calm you down. I took you out for coffee. We had to talk, and I offered to try to get you some pictures with this of the goose to prove that this is an actual menace.
Right.
However, I also need help getting a picture of a Dane squirrel, and you're the only person in town for some reason who has those animal catch nets.
Well, he does a lot of trapping, so it makes sense.
Trying to catch.
So I figured if you
the
help me
goose.
catch the squirrel, and I can finally get a gorgeous picture of that sleek green coat, runny coat.
Yes, runny coat.
Ugh.
Natural lubrication, right?
Ugh. That just makes me gag.
Yes.
The idea of like a slimy green squirrel makes me gag. Ugh.
It's pretty bad. It looks pretty nasty in the sprite.
Yeah, I would
In the game.
definitely help you try to catch the squirrel if you would help me deal with the goose.
Absolutely. We'll shame the heck out of this Dane
Goose.
goose. Sorry, I'm drunk. What was in this coffee again?
Rum.
Oh dear.
Delicious. I'd like another.
I've had 5.
Nice. Nice.
I think it's your turn.
Okay.
Yes, it is. The goose has forced you to quit a hobby. What was it, and why are you happier now? Well, we as squirrels, we are crafty people. We have a lot of ability in that way, and like other squirrels, I was also doing crafts and stuff in my spare time. And my specialty, we took some inspiration from spiders, and we made these things that I believe the humans call dream catchers. But they were actually more like spider webs that we made, and we used them to catch little insects because they are part of a good, part of the protein. We do need a little bit of protein to survive, and so that was a thing that I was very adept at doing, is making these dream catcher slash bug catching thingies. But when the goose started flapping and swooping around in our tree canopies, all of these dream catcher thingies were breaking. He broke through them and knocked them down and all of that. And so I just had to give it up because I had to give it up because it was just destroying everything. And why and the reason I guess it makes me happier is because I kind of wanted to follow in the footsteps of my grandfather and be a sculptor rather than a dream catcher maker. I mean, they're fine, but I was always kind of wanting to do the other profession. And it was my mom who encouraged me to get into dream catching because nobody or insect catching, because nobody else was doing it. I mean, it's kind of nasty. You got to pick the bugs out of the nets and all the things, and it's kind of a dirty job that nobody would want to do. And so that's why it was like, you can make much more income doing this. But little did she know I really wanted to be a model. Hello. So yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, being a model is dependent on those pesky humans with their cameras. They're so fickle. They won't even look for me in the forest. I'm so sad.
Why
So I
aren't
have to
you?
get a realistic profession like being a sculptor. And I probably should start by making another bed for myself. That would be nice. But yeah, that's why I'm a bit happier, is that I can actually get into sculpting now and don't have to do this because Goose has made it impossible for anyone. And I don't know how we're gonna get like more protein in our diets. We might have to plant like a meat garden or something. Maybe the bits of flesh falling off of me can just be planted and grow into meat trees or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Planting bits of zombie flesh
You
to
just
grow meat trees.
That whole description is making me
Yes.
imagine this little squirrel village, just like in a grove of trees in a fairy circle,
Yes.
and it's all fancy and decorated.
Yeah, and we got
And
farms, man. We got meat trees
it's
growing.
so
We're gonna
cute.
get meat trees growing.
And you had at one point a bunch of like spider web dream catchers in the trees.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
man,
That's an interesting visual. I do
Oh
have
god,
to say.
I can see Mari starting to draw this one day.
I'm
I-
drawing it in my
Oh,
head, but
God.
I'm just also imagining those trees that always end up with the silkworm
Oh, that
Uh-huh.
stuff in it.
Mulberries?
The mulberries.
Oh, yeah.
Get, like
True,
mulberry, some grafted mulberry inside some sort of tree colony. That sounds so
Yeah. Or Spanish moss hanging down and all the things.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
All right. So,
my love,
card.
if you wish to draw that, go ahead. Just don't spend too much time on it.
I drew it in my head.
Where can you no longer
Nice.
go because of the goose? I'm no longer welcome in so many places in town. But in particular, I'm no longer welcome in the newspaper building. I'm no longer welcome in the town council building. They have security guards posted outside that do not let me inside because they're afraid that I'm going to assault the city council again.
Again?
I did one time tackle the head of the city council and just demand that they do something about the goose because we need to do something about this terrible
Goose.
monster that is
This horrible goose, no
this
less.
horrible goose that is terrorizing this town. And I seem to be the only person, except for the journalist, the photographer, who is interested in stopping this monstrosity.
I'm not really
Mm.
interested in stopping the monstrosity, but I'm willing at this
You're like,
point to just.
infect more animals. I'm going to get more pictures.
I just want to hinge all my bets on him catching the squirrel.
Yeah.
So you are not actually looking to stop the goose. You are just using
I mean,
me.
you can't stop the goose. Why would you want to stop the goose?
Because it's horrible.
9 out of 10 doctors have told everybody that goose is good for them.
There are 10 doctors in this town, and 9 of them have been bitten by the goose.
That's hardly the point.
Uh-huh.
Ah!
Oh dear.
Well then,
The goose is back. What do?
you got the traps?
Starting with Mari. What are you doing?
I have my camera all set up. It's like 3 other cameras in different places. I'm holding up this little device to click immediately as soon as the squirrel is inside the net.
Net?
We're trying
no.
to catch the squirrel, and also there's the goose.
Yep. I'm like,
So Tony's trying to catch the goose.
Well,
Mari's trying to catch the squirrel in the net.
We have traps set up for both, and
yeah, it's like we have everything ready, but the goose chose that day to mess everything up. No, goose is good for people.
The goose is good for the town. So good. No, the goose is terrible.
Wait. You were almost agreeing. What happened?
No, the goose is terrible. The goose must be stopped.
Oh! There are people there! Oh, let me run. Maybe they'll see me. Maybe I can get my photograph at last. It's gonna be great. Oh, I'm walking. I'm holding my hands out in the air. Please see me. My tail's twitching. My tail's up. I'm fuzzing it. Oh my God, I've fallen down. Oh, help. Oh, I'm not a flying squirrel. I'm in a net. How do I get out of here? I'm on my back.
Goose.
I can't get out of here. The goose! Oh, the goose is after me. It's picking
Whoa.
Help! Squeak.
No, I gotta get the picture. I gotta get the picture.
I'm riding.
You gotta get the picture.
Oh no, the goose! It's gonna eat me!
Goose is doing that, and I am just calmly loading the shotgun that I acquired, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna try this, and I'm just shotgun the goose, and nothing happens. The goose just looks at me and honk, and I just break.
He's munching on the squirrel.
And I just break. I'm like, well, if we can't stop the goose from terrorizing the town.
No. This is bad. Wait, Grandma, what are you doing here? Grandma, stop! Don't stay away from Goose!
The goose from terrorizing the town, then we must just...
And Grandma takes a great big bite out of that goose. Holy fuzzy cats.
What?
Holy flaming geese. The goose, she bites the goose right in the neck, kind of breaks it apart. So Goose is cooked. That's
Grandma
what
literally
eating the goose.
Yeah. Raw.
Raw.
Absolutely raw.
Just
thanks to your grandma, Mari. The secret hero of the story.
Was
Grandma, where are your dentures?
An old woman who thought she was a cat is the solution to this goose problem.
Dang. All right. Well, poor Mari, you have no more dripping flesh to take pictures of. Sad times.
And I
times.
stop in the middle of attempting to line the shotgun up to just end it so I didn't have to deal with this pain anymore. And I see the old woman eating the goose.
Yeah, and you become jubilant. This is great. Your life has gotten better today.
Yeah.
And the diva squirrel is no more.
Squirrel.
And
wait,
then I question,
what is
what
that?
am I going to do with my life?
What is this growing out of the ground here? Have you seen this
is
plant
it a meat
before?
tree?
It's
Is it a squirrel meat tree?
It's so green. Oh my goodness. Look at the little squirrels coming off. They look just like her. I've got to get a picture of this. click, click,
Yeah,
click,
it's
click.
a squirrel growing
And
tree.
now
That's
there's a whole
fantastic.
subreddit dedicated to tiny, illegally small zombie squirrels.
Legally
My
small
God.
zombie squirrels.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Well, I think that is a fitting ending for our story today. We hope you have enjoyed this edition of a For the Queen style game, This Horrible Goose. And we'll put the link of where to get this game. It was free. We just played it off a website, and we hope that you have enjoyed this very, very much. Thank you, Tony and Mari, for being part of this crazy adventure
This was
today.
very,
That was
very
great.
ridiculous.
Yes. So, anyway, thank you so very much for joining us. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.